Hello, Dean. Thank you for coming to our library. Please tell us and our viewers about yourself and what do you do?
So I've been traveling permanently for the last 3 years, but the majority of my life, I would say, I've been on the road. I trained as a photojournalist too many years ago now in South Africa. I was born in South Africa, and so I started off as a photojournalist and then moved into pure photography. And then I was away from, I went into entrepreneurial building hotels in Zanzibar and Tanzania for a long time, like 10, 15 years. And then only about 10 years ago, I returned back to photography, which was maybe my first love. And now my first fiction books will be published from January next year as well. So.
And how many countries did you visit?
Up to now, just a little bit more than 120 so far in total.
And which one is your favorite one?
Everyone wants me to say Russia. I'm joking. Overall for me, Cuba is a standout country for me. It's just, warmth of the people, amazing place. Of course, very strong Soviet background to it, which makes it even more interesting. So, if I have to pick one, of course, Cuba is top on the list. But it's very much a difficult question because when you're at different stages in your life, you like different things. So, I spent a lot of time in Russia recently, and I'm I'm having fantastic and new experiences. And it's no lie, Sakhalin is one of the absolute highlights right now.
Thank you. Okay, let's name your top 3 favorite countries.
So Cuba number 1, strange second would be Iran, and then I would say, although I lived there a long time, Tanzania.
And why did you decide to travel around the world?
What I'm interested in mostly photographically and now recently as fiction, as writing, is people and their stories. So I'm particularly attracted to stories that are not normally told. That's my real reason behind travel. Listen to stories, meet people, and then try and put it all together.
So now you're in Sakhalin, and have you traveled to Russia before?
I've been married to, my wife and I've been married for 20 years, and she's from St. Petersburg. So I've been coming on and off to Russia for 20 years. So I've seen, I think, the majority of the country. I really enjoy it. The people are very, very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. And approximately how many Russian cities did you visit?
Honestly, I can't, of the major ones, there's none left, I think. I've been to nearly every single one. And regions, the only regions left for me now is Altai. And I like Chukotka. I haven't been to Chukotka and Kamchatka. Those are the last ones.
Mm-hmm. Will you go to?
I don't want to say this in a polite way, but Kamchatka is completely different, and I'm not saying anything about it, but I prefer the less touristy places. So naturally, if a place has got a very strong tourist appeal, I'm not really interested, to be honest with you.
And which Russian city do you
my wife wishes I'd say St. Petersburg. I know this, honestly, usually Sakhalinsk and Magadan are the ones I like.
Really?
Yeah, because they're like frontier towns. I like the blend between the wild and the urban feel. I find it interesting, like you have a similarity between Magadan and Yuzhny, like the beginning of the wild. I don't know why. It sounds a bit crazy, but I like it.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about libraries. How do you feel about them?
Well, it's maybe to most foreigners they don't understand this, but Russia has, of course, a massive library network. The quality of your library is amazing. The short tour I had today, and very positive for me to see such a wide variety, not only in English but in foreign languages, which I really believe is exceptionally important, going forward.
And what do you think about their place in modern world?
As I say, I'll be published. So I've been doing a little, getting fed back a lot of information. I'll be published by a British and an American publisher next year. And very positive signs, actually. They're saying the highest growth in readership is actually between 22 years and 31, which is very interesting. So you would naturally assume the older population, but it's not the fact. The younger, that age group there was actually an increase, maybe due to COVID, but there was an increase in purchase last year. So I think it bodes well. I think it's positive.
Dean, do you like to read?
I remember whole holidays would pass where I would read an author a week, everything. So from sort of 10 years old. And I'm so happy my youngest daughter Zoya is following, she's the same, she reads. And such a great thing to have and see,
And what kind of books do you prefer?
Well, I'm particularly attracted to autobiographies, and strangely, I like the 1920s, 1930s out of England. So people like Evelyn Waugh, Graham Greene, these fiction writers appeal to me. And for some strange reason, I like the early settlement of Western America. And of course, I've read read most of Russian fiction. Of course, Solzhenitsyn. The major, and visiting the country brings their works, works alive for me. I think that's very important, especially when you're reading major Russian works, to visit the places, because how they manage to make the descriptions is, even 100 years later, is just amazing.
And what is your favorite Russian writer?
Oh, can I say, I'm allowed to say Solzhenitsyn. I just, particularly like his work. I think it's very powerful. Brothers Kamenev, of course, is just brilliant.
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky. Of Dostoevsky's work, of course, brilliant.
Mm-hmm. And do you have...
And Bulgakov as well. I try Bulgakov, But I like his rural writings, not so much. I think it's the stories of a country doctor.
Dean, do you have your own library at home?
Of course. I think maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 even. Yeah. In both. So we have an apartment in St. Petersburg and a home in Mauritius, Mavriki. And both, have a lot of books. Yeah.
Okay, Dean, can you tell us what are you dreaming about?
I've recently, I don't want to say I became bored of photography, but there's an evolution in the world in terms of photography. The word is not photography, in terms of imagery. So as you know, the change is that we are exposed to millions of images a year, whereas before we were exposed to thousands. So the craft of a photographer has changed radically in the last 10 years in terms of digital imagery. And I've embraced it instead of trying. It's difficult for me. I'm 54 years old. I trained as a master printer in black and white. I spent 4 years at learning this art, which is now a click of a mouse button. But I've tried to embrace it and try to embrace it in the terms of using fiction and imagery together. So, obviously I have a strong photographic eye, so I'm trying to, and hopefully now with my fiction, to put the two together. So this is where I would like to excel at. That would be my next step.
So next year we will celebrate the 75th anniversary of our library.
Incredible.
And what would you like to wish to our library?
That's another, not 75 years, another 750 years. Absolutely, yeah. It's a great milestone to reach. Wow. And really, I know I'm an English speaker and an English writer, but please, the foreign languages are critical, going forward. So good luck.
Thank you very much, Dean.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for inviting me. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.